Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. The importance of petroleum in any economy can never be overstated. The matter from which fuel, petroleum and diesel is made. We can talk about how we all get to work every morning using vehicles powered by these fuels. The engines at the farms that feed this nation run on this fuel. If we were to go further, the very backbone of Botswana, mining, would cease to hold up the country should this precious commodity be taken away. While fuel is quite literally the reason economies run, its industry's stability is unfortunately volatile. Fuel availability and price are dependent on a number of factors, one of them geopolitical. An unneeded mention is that any change in any economic indicators may lead to shortages and incredulous price hikes in this resource. In Botswana, the facilitation of fuel importation is controlled by a company called Botswana Oil through the Ministry of Minerals and Energy. The company came into existence as a result of the Companies Act. Subsequently, effective April 1st, 2024, the national oil company, Botswana Oil, was entrusted to import 90% of the country's petroleum products through licensing by the Botswana Energy Regulatory Authority, BERA. Beyond that, the company is tasked with promoting active citizen involvement in the petroleum industry. One may ask how they can partake in this industry as a national of Botswana. Well, the Chief Executive Officer at Botswana Oil, Meshack Tshekedi, explains just that. Why Botswana Oil? What has been happening within the fuel industry locally? And ultimately, how citizens can be a part of this intricate sector. Tshekedi, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here today to talk about Botswana Oil in general, right? So this company exists as a result of the Companies Act. Perhaps you could just give us a brief background into when that happened and why it was necessary.
Botswana Oil was established in 2013 through Companies Act. It's a private company wholly owned by the government of Botswana under the Ministry of Minerals and Energy. The company was established as a result of the necessary critical interventions by government to take control of security of supply, as well as the need to transform the sector, not only to empower citizens, but to generate value chain activities and opportunities for this economy as part of economic diversification. Government over the years had realized because we import 100% of our fuel requirements outside Botswana, we have no control of importation. The private sector did import fuel for commercial purposes, and as and when there were international and global fuel shortages, we were at the mercy of factors beyond us. Government wanted direct intervention, wherein government established Botswana Oil then to be responsible for importation. That way, we take control of security of supply as a country. Specifically because fuel is a very strategic commodity that drives majority of the energy requirements for the country as far as industry and mobility is concerned. All of us, to get to our workplaces, we have to drive there, we have to jump on buses, we have to get on to taxis. The economy will grind to a halt if that was not possible. As we've seen in the past in 2020 and before 2020 was in 2010. Government had also realized there was no participation of citizens in the sector, or largely the local economy, except fuel was imported here. At the expense of consumers, money was made elsewhere outside the country. The first step that happened after the establishment of the company was that we started the importation, albeit it was in small quantities in a willing buyer, willing seller arrangement. But as of 1st April this year, Botswana Oil started importing 90% of the fuel requirements for the country. Through this 90%, first of all, as I said, we take control of security of supply. Number two, we are then able to transform the economy to create value chain opportunities for citizen companies. 10 years ago, there were absolutely no citizen companies participating in the value chain, whether it's importation or transportation. But after the subsequent establishment of Botswana Oil, there has been an establishment of many citizen companies in anticipation of these opportunities. Some have managed on their own right, but in anticipation in reality. So from 1st of April, we already had Botswana companies importing about 20 to 25% for the country. Over the 10 years, the transport sector has also grown from 0 citizen companies transporting to about 15 companies with about 75 trucks that are currently transporting our fuel.
Let us speak more on how this new structure is going to be benefiting citizen-owned companies within this industry.
So first of all, when the quota for Botswana Oil was established, there was a reservation of 10% for importation by citizen companies. In reality, some had already grown above the 10%, so we have allowed that they continue to import for their requirements and grow if they grow. But in addition, in the long term, as Botswana Oil, we will reserve, still within our allocation, a quota for citizen companies so that they can also learn practice in the sector as part of diversification and growth. The transportation is particularly one of the biggest opportunities for citizen companies to transport Botswana's fuel requirements, both the primary, which is the importation, as well as the distribution within the local market. Botswana uses about 400 to 500 trucks transporting Botswana's fuel, 90% of which are foreign owned. We believe over a period of time, the citizen allocation or participation can be improved to at least 50%, so that Botswana also benefit from the industry. There are other opportunities as we build this infrastructure. All services and products, including the construction trades that Botswana are capable of doing, we reserve those for citizens, like civil works, electrical, mechanical works for buildings, for example. We reserve that for citizens. And for the technical services where maybe citizens do not have experience in those areas, like the electrical, mechanical, automation for the processes, as well as construction of the tank farms. We do require, and we make it a requirement in our tenders, that we have minimum 40% of citizen participation, or if we believe there can be more, they must form, foreign companies doing this work must form JVs with citizen companies with values exceeding 40 to 50%.